Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. I'm continuing my series on my favourite albums from the years 1965 to 1989, and this video I'm just surpassing the halfway mark because there's 25 years and this is the 13th video, and today it is going to be 1974, which won out on the poll over 1984 and 1966. Now this is a top 30. I will try my best to race through, but I can't promise. But as normal, I will have 3 bubbling unders, and they are The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis, which I do like, but I find it very, very hard going. But I love the tracks. Counting Out Time, which is a real pop song, and especially the Carpet Crawlers. The title track's very good as well, as it is Back in NYC. And Lily White Lilith, which automatically makes me think of Frasier. Don't know why, well I do know why, but it's not bad. But generally speaking, the first record is better than the second. The second bubbling under is Leonard Cohen, New Skin for the Old Ceremony, and this is the one with Chelsea Hotel No. 2 on it, which is a really good song. Who by Fire is gorgeous, especially the backing vocals. Lover 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 is a very, very good song as well. Take This Longing. It's normal, standard Leonard Cohen. He changed it a bit after this album, but this is grouped in with his first 3 albums for me. And the third one is Bob Marley and the Wailers, Natty Dread, with the really upbeat, lively Up Yourself to start with. Talking Blues is one of my favourite tracks off it, So Just Say, and Bend Down Low, which is extremely catchy. And this is the album which has the original version of No Woman No Cry, which is not as good as the live version. It's a little bit too quick for my liking. Okay, getting into the top 30, and I'm going to cheat because I had to get this band in. I really did, and I'm going to show 2 albums for number 30, and it takes me back to my childhood, and they are getting in End of Story, and it's the Wombles. Remember You're a Womble and Keep On Wombling. And if I'm true to myself, I would actually have them a little bit higher, but they're really good. There's 4 top 10 singles off this, and don't forget in 1974 the Wombles spent more weeks in the chart than any other artist. That includes your David Bowies, your Slades, your Elton Johns and so forth. But you have on this one, which is probably the better one, Remember You're a Womble. You Remember You're a Womble, Banana Rock and Minuet of Allegretto. If you can get over the Womble reference, they're really, really good pop songs, all written by and sung by Mike Batt. And you know, there's little pastiches here, like you get the Womble Square Dance, which is a real hoot. Non-Stop Wombling Summer Party is a Beach Boys parody really, and it's better than anything the Beach Boys were putting out in 1974 or around that time. Wombling in the Rain's really nice, and this one here has the big hit, their biggest hit, or the biggest charting hit, number 2 I think it was, A Merry Christmas, Wombling Merry Christmas. And then you get Wipe Those Womble Tears From Your Eyes, beautiful little country song. Invitation to a Ping Pong Ball is a really, really great track. And Tobermory's Music Machine, which I was absolutely enthralled by whenever I was 8 years old when I got the album. So the Wombles, Remember Your Womble and Keep On Wombling get my number 30. Should be higher. Number 29, and Bob Dylan and Planet Waves, and I wasn't going to include this, but I played this last week in preparation for this video, and this is better than what I thought. Something There Is About You is my favourite track off this, absolutely brilliant song. Going Going Gone's really nice. Hazel's a lovely song. The slow version of Forever Young, not as keen on the slightly more upbeat version. Don't understand why they included both of them, and On a Night Like This is a good opener. This is the one that it's on the Island Records. It's the only one in his catalogue on Island. I think it was Asylum in the US. But yeah, this is good. I used to think it was absolute garbage, and I think this is the one where he reunited with the band, but this is much better than I remember. And number 28, and we have Mick Ronson and Slaughter on 10th Avenue. And this is his debut album after leaving the Spiders. It starts off with Love Me Tender, the Elvis song, and it took me by shock. You know, you expect the song to be sort of very Elvis-y and stripped back, just acoustic guitar, very, very lo-fi. This is a bombastic number with a big guitar solo in it. I didn't like it at the start, but I've really got to like it quite a bit. Only After Dark is the best track off this. It's a good riff song, and it was co-written by Mick Ronson, and the Human League actually covered it on their second album, Travelogue. Growing Up and I'm Fine is a David Bowie song, and it is quirky. I don't know when it was actually written, if it was written for him, but it sounds from around 1971, around the time of Bombers on Hunky Dory, because it's got that feeling, and it is very good, and a really, really good chorus. Music is Lethal is an epic track, and again there's English words by Bowie in this. Now he does sound a little bit Bowie-ish on this, especially the way Bowie tackled Jacques Brel songs. He tackles this in a very similar way, and it builds and builds, and it's excellent. I'm the One's not very good. It's a rock song. It's the worst on the album. Pleasure Man and Hey Ma Get Papa, the second part of that is a Bowie track, I believe, and it too is quirky around the Bombers time. The Pleasure Man part is quite slow and it builds, it's okay, and then you get the brilliant Slaughter on 10th Avenue, which is a Richard Rodgers tune, and it is absolutely beautiful, and he played that with Ian Hunter, and it's on the Welcome to the Club double live album from 1980. So Mick Ronson, Slaughter on 10th Avenue gets my number 28. Number 27, and I'm giving it to Wizzard, introducing Eddie and the Falcons, and this is Wizzard's true rock and roll album, and there's so many pastiches in this. An intro going into Eddie's Rock, which is instrumental. Brand New 88, good track. You Got Me Running, best song off it. It's quite doo-woppy, but it is brilliant with the girls singing. I Done Lots of Crying Over You is him pretending to be Elvis. Every Day I Wonder is him pretending to be Del Shannon, sounds a bit like Runaway. And Come Back Karen is a bit like Paul Anka, it's got that Diana feel to it. The hit single off this was This Is a Story of My Love, which didn't do that well. It's one of those big Wizzard grand affairs, but by that time it was about the 5th in a row, and the record buying public were just not interested. We're going to Rock and Roll Tonight. The very last track has got a bit of a Ballpark Incident feel about it. It's a very, very catchy album. I've always enjoyed it, and I think it is better than Wizzard Brew. So that gets my number 27. Number 26, and we have the Bee Gees and Mr. Natural, and this is the one before Main Course. And I always said that Main Course was the first album that really introduced the R&B. That's a bit unfair, because this one actually does. Charade, the opening track, has got like an electric piano feel. It's a ballad, but it's very good. And Throw a Penny has a little bit of a R&B feel to it. Down the Road is a bit of a groovy number. Give a Hand, Take a Hand is a song that you would expect from the Bee Gees in the early 70s, as is Voices, the one that Robin Gibb sings, which is beautiful. Mr. Natural is a really, really good track. The lead off on side 2. And Had a Lot of Love Last Night is probably my favourite off this, and the harmonies on it are brilliant. So Mr. Natural by the Bee Gees gets my number 26. And number 25, and we have Cat Stevens and Buddha in the Chocolate Box. This is the one with Oh Very Young, one of my all-time favourite Cat Stevens songs. Sun C79 is really, really good, as is Ghost Town. Music is actually a pretty good opener. Side 2, Ready got on to the Greatest Hits album. King of Trees, Bad Penny, Home in the Sky. I think he was trying to be a little bit more commercial after Foreigner. I prefer the Foreigner album, but this is still pretty good, but it's not really a patch on his 1970-71 album. So Buddha and Chocolate Box gets my number 25. And number 24 we have The Sweet and Sweet Fanny Adams, and they had 2 albums this year. The other one, Desolation Boulevard, failed to make the top 30 for me, especially because of that Man with a Golden Arm, or whatever it's called, big drum solo. It really puts me off that album. But this is the one with Set Me Free, absolutely brilliant. Sounds like Iron Maiden actually, really, really heavy. Heartbreak Today is excellent. AC/DC, Joan Jett covered as a Channing Chapman song, and it's wonderful. You also get the Peppermint Twist cover version of the old 1950s or early 60s track, which is very good as well. Rebel Rouser sounds a bit like Something Else by Eddie Cochran, well, the intro of it, but it could have been a single. There was no singles released off this, which I would have liked to have seen Teenage Rampage on this because it was released around the same time, but it's still a really good album. So Sweet Fanny Adams gets my number 24. And number 23, and we have the Psychomoto by Cockney Rebel. And the big hit off this was Mr. Soft, but Sweet Dreams going into Psychomoto, the openers are absolutely fantastic. A couple of really big long songs on here, like Ritz and Cavaliers. Ritz especially is one of my favourites. Bed in the Corner is really catchy, and then Sling It is a very good track as well. Tumbling Down is the last track, and it's one of his most loved songs, but it is a better track live. But yeah, this is Cockney Rebel's second album. I don't think it's quite as good as the first one, but still it gets my number 23. And number 22, and we have Status Quo and Quo. Yeah, this is a really good album. The only hit single off this was Break the Rules, which is very bluesy, but I do like it. I prefer it as part of this album than as a single in its own right. It opens up with Backwater and Just Take Me, the two Perfect Lancaster songs, which are great. You still do get the catchy Francis Rossi track in Fine Fine Fine, but Lonely Man, the Perfect Lancaster song near the end, is very good. But Slow Train, best track off this, and I think it is a Rossi Young song. Really good Quo from 1974, of course, and that's Quo. So my number 21, and we have Brinsley Schwarz, and this is their last album, and this is the one with What's So Funny About Peace, Love and Understanding. But you've got Ever Since You're Gone, which is a very Motowny track, as is The Ugly Things. As is I Got the Real Thing. There is a bit of a Motown vibe to it. Now's the Time is an old cover version of the Hollies, but my favourite track off this is the last track on side 1, which is The Look That's in Your Eyes. It's a gorgeous country number. It's a really, really strong album. Side 1 is actually stronger than side 2, but it's still very, very good. And as I say, it's their last album. So I guess my 21. And at number 20, and this is quite a weird album, and it's Brian Eno's Taking Tiger Mountains by Strategy. And if you expect an ambient album, which I think a lot of Brian Eno albums are, this is not. This is actually quirky pop music. There's quite a bit of influence from early Pink Floyd, even a little bit of influence from the Kinks and the 1967 David Bowie. But yeah, the first track is Burning Airlines, Give You So Much More, is a really, it's very, very, very catchy. Now Brian Eno cannot sing very well, but his voice is endearing. I do like it. Back in Judy's Jungle, it's got a waltzy feel, a little bit similar in a way to Bowie's Little Bombardier from his first album. Not quite the same sound, but it's got that vibe of it. Mother Wheel, Eyeless, has got a very, very Blur feel to it. So I think Blur actually were influenced by this album. Third Uncle is good bass and nice guitar riff. Put a Straw Under Baby is very sort of a traditional folk track, and in fact the tune of it, I can't get it. It sounds like something else. So if you ever hear that song and you know what that tune is, please put it below, because it's driving me insane. The True Wheel has got a bit of a Velvet Underground feel, as is China My China. I think this is a really, really good album. It did absolutely nothing in the charts, but it's not what you expect from Brian Eno, and that's probably why I like it, because I'm not that keen on serious ambient music. So that gets my number 20. At number 19, we have Mott the Hoople, and this is the one with the two big hit singles, Roll Away the Stone and The Golden Age of Rock and Roll. Marionette is one of those classic piano-led Mott the Hoople tracks, really good. Alice's good song, Crash Street Kids, really, really good fun. I do like Born Late 58, which is an Over End of Watts song, not an Ian Hunter one. And Through the Looking Glass, Pearl and Roy England. All very good. Maybe not quite as good as Mott, but still up there. It gets my number 19. And at number 18, and this is a weird one, I've known this album for years, but I've never really appreciated it. And I played it again last week, and it is 10cc and Sheet Music. Now there's 3 singles off this. I only ever thought there was 2. The big hit Wall Street Shuffle and the pretty big hit of Silly Love, which are both really good. But The Worst Band in the World was a single, I believe, and it did absolutely nothing. And I can understand why, actually, because it is so different. Hotel, I think, is great. It's got a bit of a Mexican feel. Old Wild Men I think is very good. Clockwork Creep I think is maybe my favourite track on this, and it is bonkers, absolutely bonkers, but it's really good. The Sacroiliac is the one that I've always loved. It's the most normal song on this, and it's a little acoustic track. And O Effendi I think is a really good groove. Yeah, these guys were really good whenever they were a true four-piece, and sheet music gets my number 18. And number 17, and we have ELO and El Dorado. Yeah, good album. Can't get it out of my head. Big hit in America, did nothing here. Boy Blue, really good. Poor Boy the Greenwood should have been a single. It would have been a hit single, definitely. Mr. Kingdom, Nobody's Child, very good. Illusions in G major, really nice wee rock and roll number. And the big final of El Dorado. It's a really good album. I think it's probably still my third of those three albums from 73 to 75, but I still enjoy it quite a bit, so it gets my number 17. And number 16, and we have Roxy Music and Country Life, and the hit single off this is All I Want Is You. The Thrill of It All, really good opener. Out of the Blue, which follows All I Want Is You, is a really good track. I really do like Casanova, which he re-recorded for his Let's Stick Together solo album, which is good. Really good time. I enjoy. Bittersweet and Triptych I think are fantastic. And Prairie Rose, the last track, is the best track on it. So Roxy Music, Country Life is my 16. And number 15, and it's Only Rock and Roll by the Rolling Stones with the hit single, the title track. If You Can't Rock Me, I think it's a great opener. I'm not that keen on Ain't Too Proud to Beg, but tracks like Time Waits for No One I think are brilliant. I love Luxury. I absolutely love that track. It has got a bit of a Jamaican feel to it, but I really do like it. And If You Really Want to Be My Friend, a beautiful track as well. Fingerprint File is awesome. The only problem with this album is very muffled in production. It could do with a good remix, and it would really enhance it. So It's Only Rock and Roll, the Rolling Stones, gets my number 15. At number 14, and we have the Kinks Preservation Act 2. And yeah, this is best listened to all in one, because it is a storyline song, but the highlights are Mirror of Love, He's Evil. I really do like Oh Where Is Love. Things like When a Solution Comes. Shepherds of the Nation I think is very good. Artificial Man, Scrap Heap City. Again, these are not immediate tracks. You have to listen to this over and over again, because I hated this when I first heard it, but it has really grown on me, and it gets my number 14. And number 13, and we have John Lennon and Walls and Bridges with Whatever Gets You Through the Night, number 9, Dream. But other great tracks are Going Down on Love. I really do like the rocky What You Got. Nobody Loves You When You're Down Now, it's absolutely beautiful. Steel and Glass is very similar in a way to How Do You Sleep, but I prefer the words of Steel and Glass. And I think my favourite is actually number 9, Dream off this. Scared is a good track, bless you. Very good album. It's probably my number 4 for John Lennon, his solo album, so that gets my number 13. And number 12, and we have T-Rex and Zinc Alloy and the Hidden Riders of Tomorrow, or Cream Cage in August. And the hit single off this is Teenage Dream. But Venus Lune, fantastic opener. This album I really hated when I first heard it. I thought it was absolutely dreadful, but it's a grower. Highlights are Liquid Gang, Carsmile Smith and the old one. Change is an absolutely beautiful ballad. I think tracks like The Leopards featuring Gardenia and the Mighty Slug are just plain silly. But this is actually pretty good. It takes a while and it is a grower, so it gets my number 12. I like all T-Rex albums, so this is definitely getting in. And number 11, and it's Mike Oldfield and his first number 1 album, Hergest Ridge. And I can't really describe this. It is very laid back. It's almost ambient type music, but it's very nice. I will say that on side 2 there's a guitar piece that goes on for 12 minutes, which I absolutely love. But it's just really relaxing music, and it gets my number 11. And number 10, and we have Queen and Sheer Heart Attack with Killer Queen and Now I'm Here. I love Brighton Rock. I even love the big extended guitar solo on it. Tenement Monsters, a decent Roger Taylor song. Flicker the Wrist going into Lily of the Valley is absolutely brilliant. My problem with this album is some of side 2. I'm not that keen on Dear Friends or even Misfire, which I think is too poppy, and neither am I that keen on Bring Back That Leroy Brown. But it opens and closes side 2 brilliantly with The Lap of the Gods and In the Lap of the Gods Revisited. And because of side 1 and those excellent tracks in side 2, which are my 2 favourite tracks off it, this gets my number 10. At number 9 we have Sparks and their second album from 1974, and it's Propaganda. And you have the 2 hit singles, Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth and Something for the Girl with Everything. But the opener of the Propaganda, which is a little a cappella thing, it's only about 20 seconds long, going into At Home, At Work, At Play, I think is really, really good. Reinforcements, fantastic track. Bon Voyage, very, very good. At You, Who Don't Like Kids. It's all very similar to their previous album, which is also on this list, but maybe the songs aren't quite as good, but still it's an excellent album, and it gets my number 9. And at number 8 I have Albert Hammond and a self-titled album, and this is the one with I'm a Train on it, which is a silly song, but I do like it. But it has things like The Girl They Call the Cool Breeze, which I absolutely love. New York City, Here I Come is excellent. Everything I Want to Do is actually a re-recording of the track from the previous album, but it's better. I Don't Want to Die in An Air Disaster is another really, really good song. Candlelight, Sweet Candlelight, beautiful. Mary Hot Lips, Arizona, really, really good singer-songwriter material, and it gets my number 8. And number 7, and it's ABBA and Waterloo, and this version actually has Ring Ring on it, the remix that was a minor hit single for them. But really it's only Waterloo was the single in most territories of this. But this has Honey Honey on it, which should have been a single over here. Dance While the Music Still Goes On is my favourite track off this. It also has Hasta Mañana, which was also considered for the Eurovision in '74, and it's a beautiful track. But this is probably their most glammy album, because of things like a King Kong song and Watch Out. Really, really good, as is The Birds Say Susie Hang Around. I really do like this. I like all ABBA albums, so it gets my number 7. At number 6, and we have Slade and Old New Borrowed and Blue with the 2 hit singles, My Friend Stan and Everyday. It doesn't open up that great. It has Just Want a Little Bit, which is a cover version of a rock and roll song. Doesn't really fit, but When the Lights Are Out with Jim Lee on vocals is fantastic. Miles Out to Sea is fantastic. Find Yourself a Rainbow is a little sort of vaudeville type song, which I think is very good. Do We Still Do It is a real glam stomper. How Can It Be is a little bit of a country track, and then you get 2 real rockers with We're Really Gonna Raise the Roof and Good Time Gals. Really strong album, and a number 1 album in '74, so I guess my number 6. At number 5, and it is Elton John and Caribou with Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me and The Bitch's Back. You know, brilliant tracks. Pinky, I think, is gorgeous. Dixie Lily is really, really good fun. A little bit like Jack Rabbit, the B-side of Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. Solar, Prestige, Agamon, silly, but I do like it. And I do like Grimsby as well, although it's a weird title to have as a pop song. But side 2's got 2 of his best ever tracks off this. I've Seen the Saucers, excellent, and The Magnificent Ticking. The one track I was never that keen on was Stinker, but I've come round to it. But although I would still have preferred the track Cold Highway to have actually replaced that on this album. But it's a fantastic album. It's up there with the best of Elton for me, and it's my number 5 on this list. And at number 4 on this list is Sparks and Keep On In My House with the 2 hit singles, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us and Amateur Hour. Falling in Love with Myself Again is fantastic, as is Here in Heaven. Thank God It's Not Christmas has got a really, really good guitar riff, and Hasta Mañana Monsieur, fantastic as well. Talent Is an Asset, I think, was a single in some territories. Brilliant. In My Family, great. Equator is the one track I'm not that keen on, but this is a really, really strong album, and it gets my number 4. And my number 3, and it's Queen 2. Yeah, this is the one with 7 Seas of Rye on it. 2 sides, white side, or side white and side black. Side white is all Brian May with one Roger Taylor song, and side black is all Freddie Mercury. I do prefer side black, although side white still has Father to Son and Someday One Day, which I really do like. The Loser in the End, the Roger Taylor song, I think is very good as well. But tracks like Ogre Battle and the Fairy Feller's Masterstroke are brilliant by Freddie. Nevermore, gorgeous little piano ballad. The March of the Black Queen, brilliant as well. Seven Seas Arrive, fantastic single. Really, really strong album, up there with the best of Queen. I think it's my number 3. And the number 2, and we have Slade and Slade in Flame. Yeah, this has got the singles Far Far Away and How Does It Feel. I think Slade's Bohemian Rhapsody is a really brilliant track. It was very adventurous to release it as a single because it's not really single material. It's such a good song, but I don't think it was a great choice as single. I think So Far So Good would have done better in the charts. Although in saying that, it's still got to number 15. But Summer Song, Wishing You Were Here, really Beatlesque, really good. OK Yesterday Was Yesterday, really good as well. Them Kind of Monkeys Can't Swing with Dawn's Drums, really excellent. And it's a fine rock song, it really is. And yeah, Lay It Down's good. Standing in the Corner is full of horns, which is fantastic. And This Girl, which you actually see in the film, is it's got a bit of a funky vibe to it as well. But yeah, excellent album, really excellent. I think it's my number 2. And my favourite album of 1974, and my favourite album of all time, and it's Diamond Dogs by David Bowie, and this is miles ahead of the rest of the field. Yeah, it starts off with Future Legend, which normally I do not like these spoken intros, because I usually find them a bit cringy, but this is perfect. Unlike the spoken intro to Glass Spider, which he did in '87, which was seriously cringe inducing. Diamond Dogs, 6 minutes long, the best Stones song the Stones never wrote. Sweet Thing, Candidate, Sweet Thing, down as 3 tracks. Really it is one track, but one long track, and his vocals are probably the best I've ever heard, and he's almost crooning at the start and then it builds and builds and builds. It's just a masterpiece of a track. And then you get Rebel Rebel, which is his last glam single. Flip It Over, Rock and Roll With Me, beautiful piano led ballad. Again, the vocals are great and I love the guitar at the end. We Are the Dead, so gothic. And then you have 1984, which is like a funk type track, and it's excellent. It should have been, I think, the second single. Big Brother, which is almost futuristic, and Chant of the Ever Circling Skeletal Family. You've never heard anything like it. Fantastic way to close an album. It's just the chant at the very, very end, especially at the end whenever it fades out, is actually quite disturbing. An absolutely brilliant album, all different styles of music, but it all works so well within the one album, and every track sounds as if it is in the right place. Brilliant album, best album ever, Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. Okay, so that's my rundown of my top 30 albums of 1974. I will put up another poll for the next one. I'll put 3 up and you can choose, and I'll do whatever wins. Okay, that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have that other video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.